Hey everybody, I'm Delicia. Thanks for tuning into the Cigar Vixen channel. So today, as promised, I'm going to be reviewing this Kentucky Fire Cured Swamp Thing. This did come in my October shipment from Privada Cigar Club. Super excited. I have smoked the Kentucky Fire Cured several times, never the Swamp Thing. So I thought it would be appropriate since they sent it to me. One, I've never smoked it, and two, kind of in the spirit of fall, Halloween, all that fun stuff. Beautiful barbecue aroma. You definitely get that kind of charcoaly campfire type of aroma to this. So really, really nice. And while Drew Estate is not the first to use the fire curing process, they've kind of really put a name for it out there on the market. But they are the first that I'm aware of that has mixed the fire cured type of a wrapper with candela leaf. So candela was super popular way back when. I know there's a handful of people that smoke candela wrappers regularly. I've only met a couple of them, and definitely around the holidays you tend to find them, especially near St. Patrick's Day and whatnot. But this one's kind of fun. I love the name, the play on the words with the coloring and everything. It's definitely a cigar that catches your attention if you walk into a humidor. And then when you pick it up and you smell that aroma, it's beautiful. Not a lot of information disclosed about the actual blend. That's kind of a secret thing. And to be clear, it's not an infused cigar. So if anyone who does pick it up that had that question and they're like not a fan of infused cigars, it's not infused. It's the process that it's cured. So they basically have the curing barn and they set up these bins with charcoal and fun stuff inside of it and light it on fire and use that to cure the tobacco. That's what gives it that aroma. So it's a beautiful aroma. You do pick up some of that flavoring when you smoke it. However, it's not anything that's overpowering, not like the aroma would lead you to believe. The aroma is very strong, but to me it doesn't smoke super strong as far as that particular taste that you get through it. So these are made at the Joya de Nicaragua factory, I believe, is where they're actually rolling these, and then they are available, in most places that you can find your estate cigars. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut it up. And these did come out a while back, so that's cool. So when you actually cut it, I'll try and get a closer picture of this, but you can see that the candela is all the way, throughout in the rolling process, the candela has gone all the way up, but then they've put on top of it an additional piece of this wrapper that actually is the one that you get, in your mouth or whatnot. So, but it's not like they stopped here and then they did this one. It actually goes all the way through, and you can see it when you cut it. You could see the green underneath it. So the pre-lit draw definitely gives you the hickory flavoring to it. So again, as it smokes, from my experience, and like I mentioned, I haven't done the Swamp Thing, but the other regular Kentucky Fire Cured, it doesn't necessarily smoke all the way throughout with that super strong hickory taste. Wow, that's really tasty. I actually haven't smoked any of the fire cured line in quite some time, so it's kind of nice to revisit it. You get a muted kind of, you can't help but taste a little bit of that hickory barbecue type of flavoring in there, or aroma. It kind of, with the aroma, you pick it up, but you also pick up a subtle sweetness. Definitely woodsy. I mean, it's kind of obvious. Definitely has a woodsy, but you do pick up a little bit of a grassy, subtle grassiness from the candela. light pepper in the background. Very nice. Good flavoring, nothing overpowering. You can tell this has been sitting, aging for a while because it's just a nice balance to it. You pick up a subtle pepper, more so on the finish, but it's definitely a settled type of flavor. You know, it's not like a jump right out and bite you type of spice. It's just kind of on the background, but it's really nice. Again, a huge sign of like just a lot of aging. It's always fantastic when a helicopter goes over while I'm filming outside. And you know, Brian with Privada Cigar Club on the tasting notes, he actually recommended a Lafroy Scotch, and I am super bummed out that I don't have that on hand, because I could definitely see that being a really nice pairing with this, with the mixture of the woodsy, that light little bit of spice in the background, and then that subtle kind of grassy feel that you get with it. It would go very, very nicely with that scotch, with that particular scotch. You get a little bit of that sweetness too, even on the retro. Just a subtle little hint of a sweet something, like a sweet, almost like hay, but not hay, like a wheat, but a sweeter wheat. Sounds kind of weird, but like a sweet, not chocolate sweet, but sweet like a sweet wheat type of thing. It's kind of odd, but it's different, but it tastes very nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and smoke it down a little bit more, and definitely check back in with you all for the second third. All right, so about halfway through into the second third of the Kentucky Fire Cured Swamp Thing, the spice, or the black pepper better, that was there in the beginning, I almost don't taste it at all anymore. I really am tasting a lot more of that candela wrapper. I'm tasting a lot more of the grassy, but it's not overwhelming. It's actually pleasant. It's different. It's different than what I'm used to, because I seldom smoke a candela wrapper. I mean, I could probably count on one hand how many times, maybe two hands, on how often I've ever smoked a candela wrapper. So for me, it's a nice welcomed change. It's just something completely different. You do get that nice, again, this particular cigar has been aging a while, so that could be part of the reason why that black pepper is really, really faint. If you're more of a fan of the black pepper, that could be something that you might not enjoy, but it's just a nice change up. You can still taste that there's like a subtle spice in there, but you definitely pick up that grassy, little hint of anise in there as well. You pick up a woodsiness to it. Again, somewhat faint. None of these flavors that I'm talking about are anything that are really strong. They're just kind of mellow, but you still can get those flavors. It's just, it's a pleasant smoke. So somebody that's either newer to smoking or looking for something that's not going to overpower perhaps their beverage, or just whatever, you're just not in the mood for a super strong cigar, this would be right up your alley. It's definitely an interesting stick, a conversational piece. If you pulled out this stick in front of your friends, they'd be like, what are you smoking, dude? It's just one of those cigars, but it's cool. I'm enjoying it. It's definitely has good flavoring. The burn line's a little wobbly, but it's not really affecting anything. It's not affecting the draw, not affecting the smoke. It's more of just a preference thing. I like to see the super sharp lines, but Again, it's not affecting the smoke, so it's not a big complaint at all. Definitely wishing I had some scotch right about now. That would just be a really nice complement to this stick. So definitely for those of you who do the Scotch Club stuff, or get together with friends and drink scotch, this is a nice one. Really a nice one. My brothers, in fact, both of them are scotch drinkers. I am once in a while, but definitely when I hang out with them, they kind of like, I lose by default, so I have to drink scotch with them. This would be a cigar I would recommend. In fact, I probably will get some to send their way. So that's how I feel about it. Moving on, I'm just going to continue to, smoke it down a little bit more. And I don't have a ton of it left, but I will definitely check in for the last little bit to see if there's been any changes in there. So coming back on the final third of the Swamp Thing Fire Cured by Drew Estate, I've smoked through all the candela, and I'm now left with, well, there's underneath this, there's candela, and then there's this, the Fire Cured wrapper that's on here. So again, not much about the particulars on the blend for this stick, but the flavoring has shifted subtly, a little bit, into the final third of, you do pick up a little tiny hint of the black pepper towards this final little third. You still got that nice underlying sweetness from that candela, just a little subtle sweetness that comes into play. There has been a little bit more, again, towards this final third, a little bit of like almost a molasses, light molasses. If you search for it, you could pick up a little bit of chocolate, like a cocoa, just a hint of it. But again, being that this is more of an aged stick, you're not getting any super strong, crazy notes. It's just all balanced and very nice, very easy to smoke. Definitely one that I would recommend. It's a good stick. It smoked well, good flavoring on it, held up very nice, good draw to it. So, and the price point is good. It's under $10. I want to say it's around between 7 and 9, depending on what size. I think there's 3 vitolas, I want to say, offhand. Good, good price point, and it's a good stick, something different. For those of you who smoke a lot of the same types of cigars, this would be a nice change up to your everyday lineup. So highly recommended, and I'd love to hear the feedback for any of you who have smoked it. What were your thoughts? What did you pair it with? Do you smoke it often? Do you store them special? What are your thoughts and your feedback? So as always, I thank you so much for tuning in and hanging out with me while I smoke this. I am going to smoke it down. It's pretty good, so I'm going to keep smoking it probably till it starts to burn the fingers. But again, thanks so much for tuning in and hanging out, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.